You know what? There's this one thing that's giving away our field right. It's this damn hillbilly straw that's stuck in the door. So guys, today we have the Voyah Passion, also known as the chasing light. So let's go. And as usually, we're standing from the back. That's where all the interesting stuff is. Bye-bye. Well, will I be disappointed or pleased? Oh, what was that? Was that a speed bump? Oh, a manhole. Okay. Right, well, let's make some space for myself, because we can do this in this car. And we can also get rid of the sun. It's shining right into my eyes, so, yep. And number two is the seat. Here we go. Boom. Bye-bye, seat. And look at what you can do here. There's so much space. Up. Thank you very much. Yep. And now the footrest. And that's not it. Because, you know, who's this for? This is for small Chinese people and girls, as always. But you can do this. What other car gives you such a setup? And the best part is that there's a half-meter margin there, so it is really huge inside. And I was surprised by this seat, right? But you can do the same on the driver's side. And at this very moment, we have the massage mode on the front, so which means that it can massage your feet whilst you chill. Can you even comprehend this? Do you realize what the Chinese have done? And this is at the price of ordinary cars you see that we now have on sale in Russia. You know, let's run through this again. Do you realize what's happening in the world and in China in particular right now? Have the Chinese really managed to do something right? That's what we're going to try and find out today. Well, there's something strange going on at the moment, because dealers in Moscow have had this car for a while now, but I'm yet to see one on the road. This is the first thing. Secondly, it was announced a long time ago, in spring, I think. It's supposed to be officially available in Russia in September, October, so basically autumn period. But again, no action to be seen and no reviews yet. Which is why, as soon as we had the opportunity, the first of these cars arrived here in Bishkek, and I decided we simply had to show it to you. And to tell you the truth, I haven't expected much from it. I thought it's probably similar to the Voyah 3, but in the form of a sedan. I mean, could they possibly come up with something exciting other than what they've done already? Seems suspicious. On the surface, the platform is exactly the same. We have air suspension, we have new synchronous electronic motors here, and they're more efficient, four-wheel drive, of course. And there are two of them, so there's 218 brake horsepower in the front, 294 horsepower at the back, and the total power is stated as 510 brake horsepower. But in reality, it's a bit more, because the torque is 730 Newton meters. Therefore, with the fact that this is a sedan and the aerodynamics are better than the crossover, this thing should be super quick. All right, come on, show us your seconds. Oh, 0 to 60 in 2.24. 0 to 104 in 2.1. Damn it, Voyah is always like that. Come on, where are your real seconds? 4 to 1, whilst the passport states 3.8. That's like 0.4 seconds slower than what's supposed to be. You know, I don't believe this is all it's got. This has got to be faster. All right, now that's a good start, nice and smooth. 2.16, 4.04. There we go. The ESC is in Ella's back, which is good. So 4.04. That's much better. That's just 0.2 of a second slower than the passport speed. Good. All right, that's good, that's good. You wonderful device, work. Come on, come on. Oh, 4.17, here we go. That's 0.3 on top of the normal speed. 80 to 120 in 2.7, guys. 80 to 120 in 2.7 seconds. Jesus Christ, 2.5. 80 to 120 in 2.5. That's amazing. This is just so you better understand the pace and acceleration. You know, it's incredible. Yeah, you gotta work at the start though. That's not even the most interesting aspect of the car, and neither are its looks, although it's worth looking at. There are some interesting features, especially at the back, where it looks a lot like the Panamera, a little bit from the sides as well. So if you look at it from this perspective and this particular angle, it's like a copycat of the Porsche Panamera. If you thought the Zeekr was the Chinese Porsche Panamera, then no. Now the Chinese Panamera is definitely the Passion, or more precisely, the Chasing Light. Because that's what it's called initially, and as usually everyone decides to completely change names. There's an active rear wing here, which is rises in sport mode. Now it looks very natural, and its only fault is that it's a sedan, which means that there is no use swinging your foot like that, and it won't open the trunk. We won't spend much time at the back here because there's not much to look at. It's a really straightforward trunk. You press the button, here it is. It's 400 liters, which means that your bags will fit without a problem. There's a couple of compartments, some soft upholstery, nothing special. You can open the bottom and you have a look. You know, everything's in order here. You won't find anything special. But the most important thing here is that even though it's a sedan, you know, the Chinese once again made it so that you don't have to lift something up to carry it over, because the flat floor, it's in line with the end of the trunk. And the last time we saw something like that was in Cherry Chorizo, right? Oh, Cherry Arizo, sorry. And here they've done it again. Therefore, it'll be easy for you to put in everything that belongs to you and your main passenger. But if the trunk is not enough for you, then of course you have another compartment in the front. It's not the same as the Zeekr, because you can fit 3 pairs of shoes here, which is significant. By the way, the Voyah logo, as you can see it here, it is kind of like pasted onto the bonnet, so you can see that yeah, it's on there. Well, the Lantu to be precise. You must be aware that the Lantu Chasing Light is the Voyah Passion here in Russia. What surprises me and amazes me in this car, first of all, it's the next level upholstery materials, because it's very nice. And the ergonomics of everything are incredible, because there's no lever under the steering wheel. You now have a knob, which is classic. It's what we're already used to switch the gears. And you've got the controls for everything else on this nice and very, very cozy, quiet panel. Now, let's talk about the upholstery. A lot of this artificial Alcantara, and it's very nice, especially on the ceiling. And the ceiling itself is actually really great. A little bit dirty, but that's our fault. The combination of materials and colors is very, very pleasant. They offer just 2 colors, in fact, the gray with light blue and the black. And the gray is not of the depressive kind, which, you know, looks good. There are backlights where needed, even in the loudspeaker, and, you know, the sound system itself is very good. Beautiful. Almost everything is beautifully made, and the upholstery is good. All in all, it feels exquisite. And, you know, you can even look at the form of the steering wheel, which is quite unusual. As for the seats, the side support is quite good, although the seats themselves seem a little bit short. For me as a tall person, it would be better if they were longer. There are also some peculiarities about the car in total, which I'll tell you later. There'll be an entire block actually devoted to things I don't like, but for now, at first sight, they've even put some bling-bling as a button to open your glove compartment. Look, the sun visors. I've very recently praised Geely for the same thing, and here in this car we also have it. It seems the Chinese have come with the next stage in the evolution of the sun visor. We'll see how it works in real life. I hope it does well. At least it looks better than the sun visors we usually get in standard cars. All right, let's move on to the screens and the display. Each of them can be controlled from here, and the passenger can easily control all the menus without any problems on his side. Everything works very nicely, very smoothly, so both the screens are very functional. The control buttons on the steering wheel seem to be touch screens, but they aren't. So they have a response, a certain response. You have to press them, which is nice. It's not simply one of those situations when you touch them by mistake and then suddenly everything fucks up. So that's nice. The window switches are also normal standard buttons, so if you want to raise your windows or lower them, you just, old school. The doors are ordinary, no showing off, just your ordinary classic doors with very nice upholstery. And now let's move on to the things I don't like, because at first glance, to the eye, all of this setup is very nice, but there's something really annoying, and it's as if the Chinese simply have to have these hiccups. First of all, the upholstery of the seats. It's made of Alcantara, which is good because it gets you nice and comfortable and grippy in the seat, but the fact that you can pull away the material from the seat, like in the Manjaro, and it feels like this material is some sort of a cover. So, it crinkles, and it's a bit strange to me. So it's a very loose fit. It should be tighter. You shouldn't be able to do this. But this is all meant to be Zeekr-like, but it's not the Zeekr, and in a Zeekr it's much better. These things, they're meant to resemble metal, but from a distance they look good, but they even look like aluminium with some hairline finishes. But these, backlights, again, take you back to the schlocky Chinese cars of the previous wave. Even now, Chinese cars like the Manjaro and other manufacturers, they tried to avoid this, but the Voyah decided to go back, even though the rest of the market has outgrown this part. And especially, these backlights, when they coexist with such beautiful loudspeaker design, leather upholstery. Okay, it's artificial, but nonetheless, it's very strange. Very strange. And you think to yourself, come on, guys, come on, you serious? Enough of this crap. Or this label on the steering wheel. The steering wheel itself is great. It's comfortable to hold. It's got a nice shape. It's nice thickness. It's reasonably compact. Nothing wrong with it. But this label, which moves around like that, it looks like you can pry it off with something. But it's not a sticker. It's not an insertion. So these small things really irritate me. You see. Apart from them, everything else is okay. The compartments all work great. Look at the key. The key's very nice. I mean, if they made the hole a bit wider, it could have, doubled up as a bottle opener. The phone charging box is where it should be. Everything is like you want it in a car. Everything is comfortable, easily accessible, right where you need it. And, even these hollow edges and the screens and the screen lighting doesn't infuriate me. The loudspeaker is really nice, although it has a backlight and it stays on even at night, which means you will probably pay too much attention to it sometimes. But it's nice anyway. As in the case with the Voyah 3, you can't open the charging latch from the back, you can only open it from inside the car. And look at these aerodynamic insertions in the wheels. They've got the same color as the car of the body, and when you choose the different color of the car, you will get different color insertions. You have white, bronze, orange, black, of course, white. Very interesting colors. Obviously, I'm not talking about the white and the black, but nonetheless. It definitely needs these insertions because its battery is not very great, based on the figures. It's just an 82 kilowatt-hour battery, which seems little, but this is a new solid body battery, which is better and bigger than the previous one in every aspect. The suppliers told us that there's a lot of misinformation or disinformation in the market, and we've confirmed with our Chinese colleagues that there is a 108 kilowatt-hour battery available, but it's an older version, and in fact it is worse at holding the charge. So when we were deciding which car to take, they told us that it made no sense to take the one with the old battery because the difference in performance was minuscule while the difference in price was significant. So we decided to go with a solid battery because it's better at keeping the charge and overall battery management is better. But this fact, of course, needs to be checked because, as you understand, it's hot as hell here. I've forgotten my sunglasses, so today I will be looking even more Chinese than usual. And of course, another factor of charging is the mountains. We're in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, so no matter where you go, you are surrounded by mountains. And you're going in one direction and it's spending a lot of the energy going uphill, whilst the other direction will be recuperating it. And that's another topic that we have to move on to: energy consumption and management of the battery, because recovery here is supposedly at a different level. The hybrid Voyah 3 and the electric one doesn't even come close. The best comparison we can do is with the Zeekr X that we've also filmed here a couple of days ago, and it turned out to be extremely energy efficient, as any Zeekr usually is. The expectations for the Voyah were, well, not so high, frankly speaking. I thought it was going to fail quite considerably. In reality, though, when we were going to Al-Archa, and I told you it's about 38 kilometers away from our starting place, its consumption was higher than that of the Zeekr. The Zeekr had 33, and this car was 38 kilowatt hours for the 100 kilometers. So when we arrived there, it was 38 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So this battery will last for a little bit more than 200 kilometers uphill in such heat. But after we drove and filmed for a while, its consumption lowered a little. And when we came back, the total distance was already about 100 kilometers traveled, something like that, and the consumption dropped to 20. At some point, I even saw 19.6, 19.7. We arrived, and of course, whilst it was standing, it went up a little, and here in the city, it reached back to 20. This is already much better. 20 means 400 kilometers for the full battery, even here in this current heat. This is another surprise after how it feels on the road in general, so it's like a second surprise. Its energy consumption, or its good quality energy recovery, you can easily find it out. You can feel it, it shows you the numbers, and you can feel how it's making your life easier at any particular moment. This is perfect, and it's really big points to the Voyah. So as we started driving, and this is completely unexpected because I was shocked. That was my first impression, and it hasn't happened to me in a while. I thought it would be like the Voyah 3. It would have some wholeness in the suspension, it would feel simpler and more rough than the Zeekr, but I'm stunned, I'm completely shocked. I didn't expect them to make something like this. You have to realize that this is their third product. And when they didn't have to do anything extraordinary, because they were playing with the idea of a crossover and minivan, and they just had to make an ordinary car. And it seems that they did it so well that they've outdone themselves. It's just a goddamn cannon! The suspension, most importantly, and the handling is absolutely excellent. And these are the things that the Voyah 3 is lacking. And this car has them. You know, I just easily accelerate to 150 with no bother. All these, fast cars, all these fast electric cars, they are all completely useless and bad here on the mountains, because you're going up so fast that you simply get sick and your head starts to ache. So kudos to them. That's it. Now I absolutely love the steering wheel and how the car reacts, how it handles itself, how stable it is, and how responsive it is to your actions in every corner with each turn of the steering wheel. It's great. Simply perfect. I was picking apart the Zeekr X yesterday whilst driving here. Why? Because it was too comfortable in all these corners. It was fast, but it didn't have comfort in cornering and side-to-side movement. But with this air suspension, the feeling it gives you on these waves, it's incredible and it's great. And of course, it isn't a sports car, but it handles all of these irregularities on the road really well, and it stays comfortable. And it does so in sport mode, allowing you not only to go fast, but to stay comfortable. It has less of this hollowness. It shakes much less, although sometimes, of course, with big bumps, which there are plenty of here, you can trust me, you know, but the potholes are huge. So it goes straight over them, and of course, it's not a Rolls-Royce, but it's very good. I mean, given that it's a car with air suspension, you want to rate it higher than standard, because at least in terms of how it feels inside and how the car behaves over these bumps, it doesn't feel like the car is suffering. It feels like a work well done, and you're comfortable. And you're not shaking and jumping all around the inside of the car. Damn, look at what it's doing! It's fantastic. It is simply fantastic, guys. This is a damn cannon. It has none of those problems that we criticized the Voyah 3 for. They've dealt with them all, and the car now feels balanced. Right, the seating for me is comfortable, and I'm 188 centimeters tall, but the height range here, so for the seat, is not so big. This is as low as you can go, and if you're a small girl, this is as high as you can go. You know, everything else is available, so you've got the massage and the air vent for the seat, which is nice. But this is as style as you can go. And here we have the sun visor, and you know, now we can use this as sunglasses, or this should be, you know, AR, augmented reality here on it. So you could drive like a Robocop or something. But anyway, I was thinking maybe you could take the visor off, because I left my sunglasses in a previous car, so I could take this off and just walk around with the sun visor, because looking at this world without sunglasses is a pain, because it's super, super hot. It's lunchtime now, and lunchtime here is hell, and the sun is blinding. So the seating is comfortable, your legs fit, you can reach the pedals, you can press the brake, and it returns you to default settings for the seat every time. I have to stop it every single time when it happens, because I haven't adjusted and saved my personal setting yet. It's a bit too far away, so we didn't bother. But even here, you look at this, you know, rubber mat covering the bolts, keeping this panel together, and the USB ports are clearly visible. The compartment is the glove compartment is a very, very simple one, but it is very nicely done inside. The upholstery is nice and soft. The pockets are covered with leather inside the door. The inside, of course, of the pocket is quite hard, but nonetheless. All the controls are here, the mirror lights, the settings, everything. So this screen is one of the most important ones in the car, because the climate is here. The top screen is for media controls and some of the car and driving, changing settings and things like that. But this is the screen you'll need constantly. It takes some time to get used to. Even the modes are now switched with this touchscreen. This is probably what I thought was done better in the Voyah than it is in the Zeekr, because it's similar to the Zeekr, but it's not as bad. They're trying to look like Zeekr, but it's not that bad, because Zeekr are good. But there is a mark on ergonomics that you have to get used to. For example, the climate control for all these floors is on this touchscreen. It's the same as in the Zeekr. You move your finger up and down here, and it will change the flow. And I really hope it doesn't have the same bugs with the slots being stuck as the Zeekr. So the general impression from this car is fantastic. And now at this price point, if we go back to the question of pricing, it's fantastic. And of course, I'm not talking about its official price, because, you know, that's a completely different thing. We often see in the comments people writing things like, we don't need this car for 9-10 million, and it's the same with the Dreamer or the Voyah 3, which with the official dealers, it's 7-8 million right now. And of course, you don't need this car at this price. And I always tell you the pricing that is available to be imported by using our friends Ian Cars. If you choose a car that they have available, it will be already at least 1 to 1.5 million cheaper than what you get from official dealers. And if you order it in advance, it will be even cheaper. And as a result, there's almost no difference in price between this car and, for example, the Manjaro that you can buy from the official dealers. Well, I mean, it's roughly about $500,000 right now, but that's not the point. For this money, it looks fine. The saddest thing is, of course, that in China, it costs even less. Even here in Kyrgyzstan, its costs are less because they don't have duties with China. So you can have this car for such low money. I'm left speechless because, in Russia, the Lada Vesta costs $2 million, and we're trying to protect it by increasing the customs payments for this car. And this leads to Voyah costing 3 times than what it is in China. The only good thing is that the disposal charge for EVs hasn't increased. So for now, the combustion engines are more expensive because you have to fuel them, because this means EVs will become better and better in terms of running costs. Well, seems that way anyway. So, especially when they start playing with prices. That's nice. That's a nice point. It's some good food for thought. Because after all, this car is a worthy choice even at its current pricing. But very soon, they are releasing a hybrid, and the hybrid will be cheaper. Mic drop. I can't press anything in this position. This will be the strangest shot possible. Misha, what are you doing? Stop. What is it with you? Are you banned from entering Kyrgyzstan? Sanya, what? This is the maximum I can do. Unfortunately, there's no controls on the side. Why? Why do I have to do this? Although you probably don't have to. You have a special person for this, Sanya. I can't. I'm stuck. Well, it's great. It really is. And these are important options allowing to get the philosophy of this car from the back seat. Because this is what distinguishes this car from the rest. It has good upholstery, an interesting design, but there are these crass insertions, they don't look too good. But once you remember the price and, it makes you come back to earth and realize that it's fine. They can say, and then I can put up with them if I have this car for this good price. There's just one thing, one but, we could say, but it is quite significant. Getting back to the ordinary seating and the back seat, whilst this setup is very awesome, I mean, don't get me wrong, but, you kind of need some more angle for the backrest. You want it to be slightly lower because even though your legs are resting, it still feels as if you're, well, it doesn't feel you are sitting, but you want to lie down. Now, I understand in terms of safety this could be a problem, but I'd like my back to relax, so in terms of comfort, it's an absolute must-have. And this is what the Germans do. I mean, and all the Germans know how to do this by now, even the BMW 7 Series, that the back seat is very comfortable. It's not as high as it is here, so it's a bit lower, but it's not as low as it was in the older versions of the German cars, which was hard for you to get in. So when you sit inside the German cars, you realize that the back end and the general car was designed around you as a person who's sitting in the back seat. Here, that's not a given, and I don't think it was made with the back seat in mind. However, it's also great here for the money that it costs you. And on the plus side, you can just press one button and everything goes back to normal.
И поехали. Чпоньк. И поехали.
There's also a button that turns off the cameras. So it's like a private mode of sorts in which you prohibit the car from filming you inside it. There are cameras here and you can control them. And there's also an access to the back. Awesome. Only European manufacturers usually do this. So all you Volvo lovers will be really happy. I would like to have some cool soft cushions here for maximum comfort, but then that would mean that you should also get a bigger recline for the seat. But, you know, they've stopped a little bit short of perfection. Hope they fix that in the restyling. Also, sometimes you find yourself thinking that you'd like to have an electric drive or soft closed doors, but they don't have them. So, surprise number 3, 4, 5, 8 is its size. When you look at its photos, you don't expect this car to be big, but it is. You could say it's huge. It's 5 meters and 9 centimeters in length. That's significant. Actually, this is an F-segment luxury car size. Its wheelbase also hints with its 3-meter width, so you know that's significant. Many will ask about its clearance. It's unsurprisingly small. It's about 12 centimeters tops. But the most important thing is probably the overhangs, because they are quite big, the front and the back. For example, to get to this car park, which is an ordinary multi-level car parking storage, we had to move diagonally over the creases, over the crescents. Even this didn't save us much because we still had to hit a few bumpers here and there in one place. So the rear overhang is slightly better, so it seems that it's better when you're going down, it's better to move backwards, even though it's long, and that's definitely not right. You're gonna have to give me some seconds. I need to do some translation because we have Chinese installed here now. Obviously, the guys in Moscow will fix this when it arrives, but for now, we'll have to live with Chinese. So, jumping mode. Jesus. It turns out this is called jumping mode, and this is what you need to use to get around car parks. You know, because we don't know how to get around. But this is called jump mode, and this is what it's in right now. You know? Go on. Get everything. Get over all these bumps. Otherwise, we've been driving like weirdos. Well, listen, this is much better now. I like this clearance. This is definitely not 12 centimeters. I think it rose at least about 3, right? Yeah, it's like almost a crossover now. By the way, I've been telling you about this clearance, and even this clearance allowed us to climb all the way up to the mountains and enjoy the sunset. So many know the tires. With EVs, you should pay attention to the tires because they are also part of your acoustic comfort. The Zeekr X helped me realize that. Here we have the Michelin Pilot Sport EV, and it's a 245 by 45, radius 20, the same diameter and size as the Zeekr had. Maybe they enhance its grip and sportiness because it does make sense to put it on good high-performance tires, I guess. Although in terms of width, many would say that for such power, they are a little too narrow. However, it is four-wheel drive, which makes a difference. How did he do it? How do they implement some of these solutions that take the Germans ages to work out and put into their cars? But they do it so fast. I am going very, very fast over this piece of road here. I understand this. But I can't drive otherwise.
Да.
It's been a long time since I wanted a car based on these first impressions. But having, driven over these irregularities, over these bumps and crazy roads, and having looked at this interior and so many special features that are inspired by the Zeekr, I've realized that I really want this car based on the first impression. And that hasn't happened to me for a very, very long time. It's really good at handling the road. Its handling in general is very nice, even though it is not a sports car at all. It is just a good, well-balanced car. It's low, so it is a sedan after all. It's stable, it's handling cornering well, and even in sport mode, it's comfortable without knocking your teeth or being unstable in side-to-side movement or up and down movement. So this is something very significant for me. And I have to start saving some money to get one of these for myself. We're driving in sport mode, but it still feels comfortable. There are some bumps, but they don't go through you. And handling, I've been praising it a lot this video. This car is very easy to handle, given how comfortable it is. And I think this is how it can be best described. So it's not a fantastic super sports car. It will not pass any corner without tilting, so it does tilt. But it just moves well through it. It's easily controlled, it's fast, and it allows you to feel the car well. And this is very nice for such EV, because very often we lose a lot, and sometimes some bad qualities reveal themselves. For example, the Zeekr X love to do, weird stuff in corners. This goes over all the bumps, and even when the altitude changes, it somehow miraculously keeps this body position. And, what about the quietness? Well, it's a little bit louder than the Zeekr X. Yes, the Zeekr X, of course, is impressive with its quietness. I don't know how they've done it there, but this one is quiet enough. The soundproofing is good enough, but of course, not as good as the Zeekr X. So, the Zeekr X has two wins. Its energy efficiency and soundproofing. There is one surprising conclusion that I've made for myself, having driven in this car for a little. Despite the fact that they can do this, they can stretch your legs, which is an undisputable advantage, you still want to lower the back. And the form of the back in general and how everything is made in terms of ergonomics is inferior to the Tank 500. In the Tank, the back seats are simply perfect. So, if you want to relax or if you want to sleep, well, let's just check it out. Let's just see if we can do it. I just want to sleep. Nope, no way. Sleeping won't work. And if you sit in the front seat and go to the back and lie down there, wait, need to move the sound. Then I won't be able to lay here. So, well, I could do this, I guess. But you'd need a pillow for it. This feels strange. I guess this is not for my body type. This capability is for showing off or for inviting somebody to your car. In summary, you need to put a mattress here that will even out and make this level, all these differences, and then you might be comfortable. But, for sitting like this, it's fine. So, the comparison with the Zeekr, I suppose, is absolutely spot on. Why? Because it's 5 meters long, as the Zeekr is. It looks similar to the Porsche, as the Zeekr is, because it's also called the Chinese Porsche. It's comfortable, and the Zeekr is also comfortable. This is one spacious car and that one's also spacious. But which one of them will you prefer and which one of them will you like more? I think you have to choose not only based on the financial side, because, you know, this car is roughly $500,000 cheaper in full spec than the Zeekr. If you buy them from EN cars. So you have to look at deeper things, because you have to think about the suspension also, because Zeekr's air suspension has a bigger range. It's more of a crossover type, and it looks as if it's faster also, and maybe even more comfortable. So, quieter or not, that's debatable. So I think, all in all, we need a head-to-head in Moscow. If you agree with me, like and subscribe. But what shocked and surprised me the most was, of course, not how this car looked, not what its papers said, not even its interior, although I was really surprised by the progress they've made in comparison with the Voyah 3. What surprised me the most was its driving qualities and characteristics, because it's impressive with its suspension, correct settings from the get-go, and comfort. And then it impresses you once again with its correct settings and much more interesting handling than that of the Voyah 3. This is how the puzzle pieces are coming together. You like how strict and simple it looks on the outside, you like the quality of their interior improved, you like how it moves, and that's it. I already want this car. Perhaps not the blue one, although it looks like I'll have to buy it after yesterday's and today's adventures. Maybe, what do you think if I should paint it bronze or orange? Well, let's finish on this note. Thank you for your attention, and we'll see you soon. We need to find a place for the rating though, so let's do it fast, because for some reason I've decided that it's time to say goodbye. So, the rating. Let's get back to this. Now we have the Zeekr X on top, and if I'm being honest, it's better and more properly balanced energy-wise. This whole system works better in it, but the Voyah made a big step also. What's more, it's faster, more comfortable. Okay, fine, comfortable is debatable, but you do get a bigger car, so you get more car for the same money. And an interesting car. And this is very hard to accept, but it seems that the Voyah is the best of the EVs at the moment. For now, until you see a couple of more test drives of EVs on my channel. And this is definitely the end now. Take care. Choose the electric cars and the cars that you like. See you soon. Take care. Bye.